Sports Report, I'm Justin Allegri. Coming to you from CEFCU Stadium, where San Jose State will open up the home portion of the football schedule this weekend against Portland State. We'll talk with San Jose State head coach Ron Caragher both about the Tulsa game and preview the upcoming game with the Vikings. Plus, we'll hear from the men's soccer coach Simon Tobin as well. But first, let's head back to some highlights against Tulsa. San Jose State on the road to start off a year for the first time since 2012, taking on a high-powered Tulsa Golden Hurricane team. The Spartans would get the ball first after winning the toss, but a sign of things to come was the first carry of the game, Deontay Cooper, who was brought down for a loss of 4 yards. But Potter connects to one of his new targets, Trey Hartley, on a 3rd and 14 for a Spartan first down. San Jose State, though, would be forced to punt after that. Tulsa takes over at their own 8-yard line. Quarterback Dane Evans would go to work. First play of the season, he drops back and drops it into the hands of Kevon Lucas, one of his favorite targets. 46-yard pass play, giving the Golden Hurricane a first down at the 46. 2 plays later, the drive would be completed by Giangelo Brewer, taking it in from 38 yards out, and Tulsa had the first score, going 92 yards in just 52 seconds. Spartan offense didn't really get much of a rhythm going, but after a couple of 3-and-outs, Potter steps up and hits Rasheed Johnson on a post route for the first play of the drive and the first touchdown of the year for San Jose State. 64 yards the score, Potter's longest career touchdown pass, and it tied it at 7. The tie score would be short-lived, though. The ensuing Tulsa possession, Brewer breaks tackles and muscles his way for 40 yards before being hauled down from behind. Spartans' defense would hold from there as Tulsa brought on kicker Redford Jones for the field goal try from 34 yards away. That was good, and Tulsa was on top 10-7. After another Spartan punt, James Flanders gets the carry and maneuvers 14 yards for a first down. The next play is a shot downfield for Josh Atkinson, who nabs it for a 33-yard pickup, setting up first down just outside the red zone. From there, the Golden Hurricane give it to Brewer for his second score of the half, making it 17-7 Tulsa. And that is when things started to fall apart for San Jose State. The first play of the next drive, Jimmy Brubaker intercepts the tipped pass and returns it untouched to the end zone 24 yards away for the pick 6, and in 8 seconds, Tulsa added another score before the end of the first quarter. The next drive, the Spartans had some momentum with the offense. Justin Holmes takes in a 26-yard reception for a big third down conversion. But Cooper takes the carry trying to sweep out to his left. He gets hit on the second effort for yards and coughs it up for the second turnover in as many possessions for the Spartans. That led to this lob pass into the end zone, snared by Justin Hobbs from 11 yards out, and Tulsa's command grew to 31-7. The final miscue of the first half for San Jose State came from Tim Crawley, who was backpedaling to receive a punt after a Spartan stop, backpedaling inside the 10-yard line, and he muffs the kick, dropping it and going loose into the end zone, recovered by the Golden Hurricane, who would add on for the third turnover from San Jose State, directly resulting in a touchdown. The Golden Hurricane would cruise to the victory, 45-10 the final score. Spartans dropped to 0-1. Kenny Potter finished 16 of 28 with 234 yards passing and a touchdown. He was sacked 4 times. Rasheed Johnson, a bright spot for San Jose State, had a couple of receptions with 75 yards and a score. Also returned the ball well, averaging 28.5 per return. Spartans were outrushed, though, 305 yards to 53 in the game, as Tulsa's Giangelo Brewer went for 164 of those yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Dane Evans, the quarterback, 12 of 23 for 198 yards and a touchdown as well. His favorite target, Kevon Lucas, in the game, had 112 yards receiving on 6 catches. Spartans fall in the opening game of the season, 45-10. Time now for this week's San Jose Police Department Homegrown Spartan, and it is sophomore linebacker Frank Ginda this week, who had a fantastic game for the Spartans defensively, racking up 14 total tackles in the game against Tulsa, 8 of those being solo tackles, and 2 sacks, totaling 15 yards lost for Frank Ginda. He also added in 1 pass breakup in the game. The linebacker was all over the place on special teams and on defense, and for his efforts this week, he is the San Jose Police Department Homegrown Spartan. Time now for this week's Lexus Drive of the Game, and for the drive of the game, we head back to Tulsa on the only scoring drive for San Jose State. I should say the only touchdown scoring drive for San Jose State. This drive started after a stop by the Spartan defense forcing a punt from the Golden Hurricane end zone. Tim Crawley made the fair catch at the San Jose State 41-yard line, and that's where we begin. So the Spartans had it, but before the play could get off, San Jose State is called for an illegal formation and would have to walk back 5 yards. But then Kenny Potter steps up and heaves it out for the first-year wide receiver Rashid Johnson, who catches in stride behind the defense for a 64-yard touchdown. That is the longest pass play in Kenny Potter's career, and it was the only touchdown of the day for San Jose State. Overall, the drive was one play, 59 yards. Remember, there was a penalty, and it took just 10 seconds. The drive of the game brought to you by your Northern California Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. We'll take our first break here on Spartan Sports Report. When we return, the men's soccer head coach Simon Tobin will join us to talk about the start of his season. More to come after this.
We started with the class-leading RX. We gave it paddle shifters to help you command the road. A sport mode to help you control the road. And a sport-tuned suspension to help you connect with the road. The Lexus RX F-Sport. This is the RX Elevated. See your Northern California Lexus dealer.
Spartan wide receiver Tim Crawley has been called undersized. Not strong enough. Not fast enough. Doubt is what drives Tim Crawley, but the lack of doubt is how you build an empire. Secure your tickets today at sjsuspartans.com. Welcome back here on Spartan Sports Report. We're now joined by the men's soccer coach here at San Jose State, Simon Tobin. Simon, let's start first before we get into soccer in this season. I know it was a kind of an exciting summer for you and for a lot of the members of the soccer team. You had the Copa America teams coming here and practicing. It was probably a pretty nice sight and a pretty fun atmosphere for the soccer team.
It was absolutely fantastic to have number one, the world's best player on your Lionel Messi on your facility, and then have the Argentinian national team, the Copa America winners Chile, and then have Premier League team Arsenal, all within a space of about 5-6 weeks was pretty incredible, I must admit. So it was a summer of soccer, but one that I really loved.
Now, did the players understand the gravity of all those names coming through?
Oh, they did, and for some of them just to be able to rub shoulders and have a little chat with them and get their pictures taken, and probably more so to watch them train and watch that level of, the best players in the world right there, and you're on pitch side with them, watching them work out every day was, that's fantastic just for our program,
Well, and as the program progresses this season, one of the new elements is the new facility that's being designed and under construction right now as part of the South Campus renovation for San Jose State. Where are we at with the new facility for men's soccer and women's soccer?
Yeah, I think, I spoke with Lauren Hansen, the women's coach. We're really excited that we will have ownership of our own facility, and as brilliant as the football team have been by offering us their practice and playing facility, there's nothing like having your own, and so they're telling me it should be ready in October. And just like you talked about this summer, we hope not just to have men's and women's soccer out there, but because the Bay Area is becoming a hotbed of top soccer, that we can host international teams again in summers to come.
And that has to help recruiting down the line, right?
Oh, it's invaluable. So you say you want to come and play at the same place as Lionel Messi was here. It gives us an extra edge on some other programs.
Well, and now before you get to conference play, there's a stretch here where you're going to be on the road for a little while and against some top-tier teams.
Yeah, we play a great Pac-12 team, Oregon State, that are off to a 2-0 start, and that'll be a huge game on Friday. But it'll give us a good idea of where we really are. And Portland with a new coach and just got another win on Sunday. So those are big, and then I think probably doesn't get any easier because then we have Stanford the next game, the reigning Division 1 national champions. So if we can get if we can do some decent things out of those 3 games, it will set us up for nicely for conference, because certainly conference won't offer anything anything better than those three. We've got some great teams, Seattle and Utah Valley, but the three teams we play next are comparable to the best in the conference.
You mentioned those injuries for the team. Is it hard to get a feel for how the team's performing early in the season when there are so many injuries and kind of limping into the year?
Yeah, you're exactly right. So we put some players out there yesterday, like Rory Nibbs, our top scorer, Kyle O'Mahony, Jonathan Kalunga, Jeremy Romero, all guys at Jonathan Partida, all kids that are trying to go out there with no base. They've done very little pre-season, so it's not an ideal situation. So for the next couple of weeks, we've got to try and get them up to where they should have been, now. So it's a little bit of a catch-up.
Who has stepped up for the team to fill in the void?
I mean, it's very unusual to have a fantastic freshman out there that's played nearly every minute, but Suleiman Karami, who's an Earthquakes academy product, local, also plays for the under-20 Afghanistan national team. And so we missed him for the first week, but he was playing in Europe, and he's been a top freshman. Scott Buskey and Kyle O'Mahony, although they missed a lot of pre-season, have been very, very good for us at the back, and it's been probably more of I know it's a little bit of a cliche, but it has been a real team effort rather than anybody really standing out. And my teams are known to be pretty rather than gritty, and I would say this time we're gritty rather than pretty.
All right, that's San Jose State head coach of the men's soccer team, Simon Tobit. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
More to come here on Spartan Sports Report when we return.
Honoring all-around excellence in men's and women's collegiate competition. Every division, every sport, the Learfield Directors Cup. The prestigious award continues its reign as the crowning achievement in college athletics. To follow your favorite team, like us on Facebook, find us online and on Twitter. The Learfield Directors Cup.
Playing high school and college basketball taught me the value of teamwork while learning leadership and problem-solving skills. Sports are an excellent way for kids to prepare for the real world, as well as the importance of staying physically fit. I use these skills every day in my job as an officer with the San Jose Police Department. Being a police officer allows me to use what I have learned while serving my community.
View job opportunities and apply at sjpdu.com. That's sjpdyu.com.
Welcome back on Spartan Sports Report. We're inside SEFCU Stadium, now joined by San Jose State head coach Ron Caragher. And Coach, gosh, this is such an exciting team coming out of fall camp. Just give us your assessment of what you think happened in that Tulsa game.
No, I thought we had a really good camp. I thought we had a really good week of preparation, simulating the opponent, the speed of pace that they take. And it just was one of those games I felt what could go wrong did go wrong. And we made some mistakes. Some third down conversion opportunities didn't happen. Balls got tipped, and we just failed to execute. And that's a big thing that we took out of it. I went into the game telling the team we have to win the turnover battle. We lost it 0-3. We got 0 takeaways and we coughed the ball up or turned it over 3 times. Very costly. I also told the team I felt like we needed to win the battle of the trenches, and we got outrushed 300-50. And no excuse. We got to be better. We can't have that happen. And little things, little mistakes, 10-man football here and there adds up over the course of a game.
Talk about in the trenches, you talk about turnovers, and I think one of the plays that was really the big momentum shift in that game was the pick 6. Now, would you consider that being a poor throw from Kenny, maybe a decision from him, or was that the offensive line?
No, that happens. The interception, the ball gets tipped at the line of scrimmage. He had a couple of those. We went all fall camp without a ball getting tipped, maybe 1 or 2 out of tons of throws, but that happens. You can't control that as a quarterback, the ball being tipped and going in the hands of the defender. So, but it was costly. It was painful because our defense had just been on the field. We throw a ball gets tipped, intercepted, touchdown, and it just puts more points on and digs the hole that was already getting dug. It dug it deeper, and that was tough. And then the punt return, a second big turnover trying to catch that punt, and it gave them the ball. They recovered in the end zone for a touchdown. So my message to the team is let's use this as a catalyst to move forward and learn from these painful mistakes so that we we get clear early on about how we have to play each and every play over the course of a game.
That was so strange too from Tim Crawley, because he's such a smart football player, decision maker, and it was just so odd for him to see. Maybe he was trying to do too much, I don't know, but it was just odd to see him make that mistake.
It was, and we had several veterans that a little bit here, a little there. I told the team, and we had 15 to 20 plus great plays executed well. That was 11-man football, as we say. But the problem was there's 70 plays in a game, and we had one guy here, one guy there. And I get it with the first-year guys, those first-year guys who put on a Spartan uniform and played for us the other night. That's going to happen time to time. But we had some veterans who just wasn't their typical self. And so we're going to fix that. We're going to right the ship and get back on track.
And one of the things that I thought was a positive from this game, the wide receiver play I thought was pretty good, and also the return game from Rashid Johnson. I thought he showed some very good things on that. So talk about them. And I know Kenny maybe underthrew a couple of receivers at different times in that game, but the wide receivers overall I thought played pretty well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we got the ball to him, and Rashid stood out and played well. Trey Hartley, I thought, played well. Justin Holmes. So I think all in all, that group, the passing game was okay. You know, it was fine. It didn't cost us the game. It was okay. We need to pick up the pace and run the ball better to be the team that we want to be.
What was it about the run game, you think?
I think they just up front did a good job of some variety of blitzes and stunts, and it goes back to communication. And the first time on the road, I hate to bring up a year ago, but our first game on the road last year was a tough one, playing at the Air Force Academy, and we came back from that clear about how we need to play and how we need to improve, and I think that this team too, we're going to get better and be able to communicate when you're on the road playing in a hostile environment, and I think that's the next step.
On the defensive side, Coach, without Christian Tago, big loss obviously, and without Maurice McKnight in that first half. First of all, Tago, how long is he out for? What is his status?
Yeah, he'll be out this week, and I think after that it's really week to week thereafter. Okay. I don't foresee more than 3 or 4 weeks, though. I think that everything's going well. He's doing his rehabilitation super, but you're right. A team captain, a 4-year starter, that's important. It's no excuse for not playing better, but it certainly is good to have all your key players in the lineup.
Even with him being out, Frank Ginda, boy, he played well. 14 total tackles, 2 sacks.
Correct. Yeah, Frank played well. Mark Amon played well. Those guys did do a pretty good job, at times, and we just need to continue that.
Now, the other part of that is how do you make sure that this team understands the gravity of losing a game like that, first and foremost, but at the same time washes it away, because you're not going to get a break.
Yeah. No, it's important to address it and lay it out on the table. We talked on Sunday, but also to move on. You got to flush the game and not let it drag on. I said this game could be an anchor or it could be a propeller for our season, and let's not let it be an anchor. Make that choice to move on, get it out of the system, learn from it, but move on, and help us, get clear on who we need to be and how we need to get there.
All right, we'll take a quick break here with Coach Caragher. We'll talk Portland State when we come back. You're watching Spartan Sports Report.
We started with the class-leading RX. We gave it paddle shifters to help you command the road. A sport mode to help you control the road. And a sport-tuned suspension to help you connect with the road. The Lexus RX F-Sport. This is the RX Elevated. See your Northern California Lexus dealer.
Welcome back here on Spartan Sports Report, continuing to talk with San Jose State head coach Ron Caragher as we preview Portland State here, Coach. A home game, the first home game of the year inside SEFCU Stadium. Talk a little bit about Portland State, because it's a team that won 9 games last year. They knocked off an FBS opponent, a team that is another high-powered style of offense.
Yeah, no, very good. It's very catchy when you see an opponent beat a 9-win Washington State team like they did a year ago and made it to the FCS playoffs. And any team that makes it to the playoffs is fully capable of beating BCS type school. So we respect them, what they do. They run a multiple style of offense with shifts and motions. They got a special athlete, number 2, who can do a lot of things, run, catch, and very versatile player. Their quarterback's solid. Their offensive line does a good job. So they're very good from an offensive standpoint. And defensively, they do a lot of things. They create some chaos with their blitzing and stunts and so forth, but they're very sound. So we know we have to be ready. They're a good football team coming in here, and they want to knock off the Spartans, and we need to get back on the road of winning football games.
Well, they also faced a scare in their first week. They were down double digits and had to come back from that to a Division II team. So some resiliency already shown by them, but still a scare for them.
Yeah, no, they did a good job. They could have caved it in, but they kept fighting, and they found a way to dig themselves out of a tough hole they were in.
Alex Caressa, their quarterback from last year, he was the Big Sky Newcomer of the Year. He's a dual threat type of quarterback. He can run the football, can pass it very well. Talk about him.
Yeah, no, he makes good decisions with the ball. You see him, a lot of the RPOs, the run pass options, as we say. He can give it to the back. Number 2 jumps out as a guy who's very versatile, but he pulls it and is very good in his decision making, and Kentucky can make you pay defensively if you overcommit to the run or the zone read type play. He can make you pay, and he can throw the ball well and push it downfield. He
was originally with BYU, so you know the talent is there for him. He was a wide receiver with BYU, but from what I'm reading and hearing is he has the ability to make plays happen even if something's not going his way.
Yeah, no, he's I think a good player, and I think he's a good leader, just from what I understand and watching him play. I mean, the way he played last Saturday when they were down, he didn't fall apart. He stuck together and dug down deep and found a way to pull out a win.
In their secondary and on the defensive side, Xavier Coleman, who comes back. This is a team that had a lot of interceptions, 18 last year, put a lot of pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, no, they put quarterbacks in bad situations, forced quarterbacks to make errant throws and off timing, and it showed in the interception column. So they do a good job pressuring the opposition, and the secondary capitalizes.
What's so special about their defense that does that?
Yeah, I think their linebackers have a good knack. They're pretty good up front. They got some big, girthy type guys that occupy offensive blockers, so it frees up their backers to run through the gaps when they do crisscross type blitzes and things, and they roll the dice now because they can pay dearly for doing that, but they seem to have timed it up a lot of times and put quarterbacks in awkward situations.
Spartans, to their credit too, on games like this in the past have come out with intensity and really understood that it's not just another opponent. You know, it's not an FCS opponent. Treat it like a real opponent.
Oh yeah, I mean every year there's multiple times the FCS teams beat BCS type programs, and it's happened in the history of this program, I know, and you got to bring your A game in college football, and there's no playing down, playing up. It's every team has pretty good players, and you got to bring your A game every game.
What do you want to see from the Spartans this week to know that they're back on track and where you want them to be?
I think from a standpoint of errors should substantially go down from game 1 to game 2. Too many self-inflicted errors that I think it could be something as simple as taking a step with your play side foot if you're up front and the offensive line, or not stepping backwards when you stepped on the quarterback, Kenny, down on the goal line. Those things, improving that to, being really wise with our catching of punts and things like that, so that we maintain possession of the ball, control the football, and then create some turnovers on the other side. Interceptions, strip the football, create opportunities for our offense to get back on the field.
Now, how do you work on that during practice? It's not something that you could just work on.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
You during practice, we simulate some drills doing it, but when we do teamwork, we emphasize it. When we go against our defense or versus our offense, we want those guys stripping the football and getting it out. And same thing, we want the guys to secure the football and protect the ball. So we stress it during practice and get it, and this week will be a big emphasis on both those.
An opportunity for a home game, too.
Absolutely. We want to start off on the right foot in our own stadium and get things off to a good start here.
All right, that's San Jose State head coach Ron Caragher. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
More to come here on Spartan Sports Report after this.
Spartan wide receiver Tim Crawley has been called undersized, not strong enough, not fast enough. Doubt is what drives Tim Crawley, but the lack of doubt is how you build an empire. Secure your tickets today at sjsuspartans.com.
Playing high school and college basketball taught me the value of teamwork while learning leadership and problem-solving skills. Sports are an excellent way for kids to prepare for the real world, as well as the importance of staying physically fit. I use these skills every day in my job as an officer with the San Jose Police Department. Being a police officer allows me to use what I have learned while serving my community.
View job opportunities and apply at sjpdu.com. That's sjpdyu.com.
Welcome back here on Spartan Sports Report. That does it for this week's episode. Once again, San Jose State at home this Saturday, September 10th against the Portland State Viking. Kickoff at 1:30 from CEF Stadium with the first 10,000 fans coming through the gates receiving seat cushions sponsored by CEF. You can hear the broadcast on 1590 AM KLIV and the Spartan Radio Network beginning at 1 o'clock Pacific time. Thanks for watching this week, and we'll see you next time.